Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and it's finally arrived. What's finally arrived, you may ask? Well, my order from Next Level Miniatures, and it's about time. I placed this order Tuesday, and it's Thursday, so it took a whole 2 days to get here from the time that I placed the order in the morning to Thursday before noon. You know what? That's extremely fast. I have no idea how they accomplished such an incredible feat. Next Level Miniatures is, let's get them out of this ugly box. No offense to the box, of course. It's a great box, and they're actually packaged very well. Is a miniature manufacturing company based out of St. Louis, which honestly isn't too far from where I am. If you are interested in ordering from Next Level Miniatures, I don't know if there's a reason to keep this stuff. I might keep it. Then you'll be interested to know that all orders over $25 USD give you free shipping. They all come with bases. I'll put a link to their website in the description below, and we're actually going to surf that very website here in just a moment in this dual format video. You'll also maybe recognize them from having Kickstarters, which have been successfully funded and have added plenty of awesome Shameful Gray plastic miniatures to their ranks. And, of course, you can get 20% off your order with code SUMMER2023. That's nextlevelminiatures.com. That's enough shilling. Let's actually unpackage these and see what we get. First off, the most important part of any miniature aficionado's arsenal, these black discs, which work great for weighing down the bottom of your garbage can, because that's exactly where they're going to go. Next, the actual miniatures themselves. I'm sorry, guys. I don't use the black discs. I don't use the circular bases. I will if I'm going to kit bash something that's going to be compatible with my HeroQuest 2021. But otherwise, I try to make those nice beveled rectangular bases that come with the classic HeroQuest if I'm going to be doing any kit bashing. And that's generally what I do. I ordered $25.83, I think it was, worth of miniatures to get my free shipping. And while it doesn't look like a whole lot, there are a lot of different sculpts here. We're going to go over all of them here. I'm going to do some comparisons with, say, modern HeroQuest and classic HeroQuest, just to give you an idea of kind of what would be compatible. I imagine a lot of folks who watch this might be interested in that exact comparison. So the first thing I want to show you, so we've got a lovely Crowboy, a Kenku rogue here. And forgive me for getting some of the names or the classes or whatever wrong. This could be a Kenku assassin, it could be a Kenku rogue. It is a Kenku, I know that much. The sculpt is great, and just going to go ahead and point out, these are injection molded miniatures, so they're not brittle like resin. They've got a little bit of bend to them. They're not going to break, they're not fragile. And there are incredible amounts of details on these. I love the feathers in the leg. This guy looks fantastic. Since they are, however, injection molded, you will notice a couple of things that only come with injection molded miniatures, and that namely is going to be these nice little things we call gates on the bottom. This is basically where they would snap off of what you would consider to be the sprue after they've been molded, if a bunch of them are being molded in the same mold. When that mold comes together, all of the plastic cavities fill, or all of the cavities in the mold rather fill with plastic, and they're all linked by these tiny little lines, which ends up becoming our sprue. And when that drops out of the mold after it opens, somebody has to take that off, if they're going to at all. Now, in the case of like HeroQuest back in the day when things came on a sprue, I imagine that that sprue was made along with like maybe a dozen other sprues at the exact same time. So those sprues probably all connected and had to be separated from one another. But back to the showcase. I ordered a couple of these Decapusses? Decapi? I really liked how they looked in the preview image on the website. I don't have any of these, and I think that they're going to make great enemies somehow, somewhere. I'm not sure. HeroQuest, quite possibly. I got 2 of them because this makes a great mob. I didn't want to get just one, and I knew no matter what the size, it was going to feel compatible because they're octopus monsters, you know? They don't have to be a specific size. They have a little bit more of the sprue on them, a little bit more of gait. So if you're going to order miniatures like this, just be aware you may need to take a scalpel. That's not the word I'm looking for. One of those lovely hobby knives and just cut that right off. And I'm going to do that definitely when all this is over and done. I got a couple of warlocks because, you know, I love my halfling warlock from HeroQuest very much. And to have an alternative form of her that I can use for other things, especially one that has a hat, she's rocking this hat, is so great. This one is actually a little bit, almost imperceptibly shorter. She could be like the little sister. It's incredible how close in scale they actually are. Incredible. This is a fantastic proxy, and I'm going to give this the award of best proxy for your halfling warlock if you don't already have the halfling warlock from HeroQuest 2021, which is formerly available only in the exclusive mythic tier, and now it is it's going to be retail available everywhere once the Prophecy of Talor expansion pack is released. But anyway, I love this mini's hat. The gate is in a place it's not going to bother anybody. I'm just going to slice that right off. And that's, if I didn't say so already, that's what we call those. An injection molding, that's a gate. I have actually ordered 2 of her because I love this character so much, and I want to have lots of different painted alternatives. So at some point when I have my second warlock from the expansion, I'm going to paint this one. I'm going to leave one red. I'm going to paint one of them, and then I'll give these guys different paint jobs just to play around with the color scheme and the palette and have different levels of power, perhaps different themed characters. You will notice these guys. These are your mind flayers. I forget what they're called on the site. I don't believe they're called mind flayers. I've been fighting these guys a lot in Demon Souls, the video game, the remake for PS5, and love the textured look of their cape. Again, you might see this texture and think, oh, FDM printing. These are not 3D printed. These are injection molded. Factually, they don't have those layer lines all around them at all. They are formed inside of most likely an aluminum die. And the detail on those guys is incredible. I'm gonna just get them matched right up here with Mentor from the Mythic release. Not flexing, I just happen to have Mentor up here on my shelf. And I gotta say, they cut an imposing figure. There's a little bit of flash on him, which is in a really funny spot. Actually, it almost kind of seems like there's a feather sticking out of his head. You just got to be aware that there's going to be a little bit of stuff like that whenever you get injection molded minis, but I'd rather have injection molded minis than any other method of obtaining a miniature, period. I love the injection molded best. All right, we have a ton of minis left to go over. Something I thought was really cool and what really kicked off my order was this bonfire, this little campfire. I thought this would be so awesome to use. You can see the logs perfectly. The fire is going to be a lot of fun to paint. The circle of stones around the logs are just the picture of safety. Smokey the druid, Smokey the bear, would be so proud. We just got to snip that gate off or just give it a nice little slice and we'll be good to go. The scale, I thought, looking at all this stuff was pretty small until I really did take and pair things up to see what they look like. Come on, get in focus there. Get in focus. There you go. The scale's not too far off. It does feel a tad small when you're holding all this stuff by itself, but it's really not that far off at all. I think it is quite suitable for use with our HeroQuest stuff. Now, this fire could be a little bit bigger. I will say this fire could be bigger. We're talking about 4 adventurers about this size that are going to be around this fire. This fire, though, it takes up a little bit less than 1 tile. If we could take this and just blow it up a little bit so that it took up a 1-inch standard tile, this would be amazing. It would be perfect. I actually ordered 3 of these tentacle-faced guys. I love them. I love them. All right, what do we get into next? The gargoyle. This was Char's request. She wanted a gargoyle. She's a huge fan of the 90s Gargoyles cartoon, so I imagine her request was not in any way biased. This guy, you'll notice, has 4 arms, 2 wings, And this looks like it could be a spear or something, but it's just flash, excess plastic that escaped the mold while it was being formed. No problem. We'll take the flash right off. We'll take the gates right off on the little feet. And this gargoyle would be good to go. I imagine he's going to be more of like an imp or something if we use him in HQ. And now that I've made my initial order, I can see myself making repeat orders because now I know what these guys look like. I know what their size is. I know how they feel. I know what their quality is. I'm going to make sure I paint these guys with some speed paint, and we're going to see what they look like after that. But that'll be later. That'll be later. Do look forward to it because I'm definitely going to do it. We've looked at our campfire. We have this. I couldn't pass this one up. If it's too difficult to tell, this is a barbarian, but it is a serpent-headed barbarian. So if you are using serpent folk of any kind in your game, I feel like this is a tough one to pass up. The scale of him. Let's get our Minsk figure, Minsk and Boo from my Dungeons and Dragons painting. Come on, focus. Don't do me like that. The scale's pretty good. It is really, really good. And it cuts an imposing figure again. He comes out, you know he's going to be pretty tough. He's going to roll quite a few numbers here. And he's going to be a lot of fun to paint. You could basically go anywhere with a snake man. Or if you were inclined, you could say that this is a human with a snake person's head as sort of a mask or a cowl to kind of give you an idea of how his prowess is on the battlefield, how accomplished he is. This is his accolade. He is the Snake Man Destroyer. And actually that was like 99.9% of the plot of the Conan and the Adventurer 90s cartoon. So, I mean, yeah, this is Conan just with one of the Snake Men's heads on his head. My wife, actually, believe it or not, I didn't care much for the Druid Halfling. My wife actually wanted the Druid Halfling, but here she is in all her glory. We've got a Druid Halfling, and on her hand, it seems, we have a lot of different ways we can interpret this little fellow, but I think, focus, please. I need you to focus now more than ever. We're talking about a miniature of a halfling. I think it's a snail. I think we've got a snail in a shell. His body is pretty well out of it. He's got his antenna popping up. Can't really ask for much more detail there. It's an incredible amount of detail already on a miniature that is about half-sized because of what race it's representing and so on. But I'm sold on that being a snail. We've got our staff, which is twisted with lots of branches. We got a little bit of flash on top here. We'll just take that away. And we have a lovely wooden staff. They didn't have to create this twisted wood look, but they did. This is a talented sculptor. If there's more than one sculptor, these are talented sculptors. I really appreciate them. These miniatures really are next level. I am disappointed with two things, though. One, they only had one were-rat. When I see rat, I want lots and lots of rat. I don't want just one rat. I want plague levels of rat. And when I have just one rat to choose from, well, this is it. This is the one rat that they have. A little bit of flash on the tail. Just pointing that out because I don't want anybody to look at that and be like, well, his tail spiked. Or no, he's got two tails. Nothing like that in these miniatures. I know flash when I see it. That just comes right off. You don't even need to use any special tools or anything to remove that stuff. But his little feet, very detailed, very detailed. It's kind of hard to capture. I'm doing my best here to capture on this 4K resolution. Well, this isn't 4K resolution. It's almost 4K. It's like 2.5K. He looks great. He looks really great. I actually think it is a 4K camera. Or at least, I think that's what I'm doing with it right now. We have a Dragonkin Barbarian. The size of his stocky arm has got me kind of second guessing a little bit about the accuracy of his anatomy. But actually, if I look at it in certain angles, it does look fine. He does look like he's a bit stocky, so it's fine. It's not even really the level of a minor gripe. It's just his arm's short. But I think his arms might be the same length if he were to put his arm all the way down, and you gotta realize we've got some extension going on anyway. But really wanted to have this guy. I really wanted a dragon folk, sort of. I think this was marked down as a paladin or a cleric. Either way, I really wanted him, and I'm glad I got him. Now, we have a few more left to show. One, we've got this lectern with book and candles. This is such a small model. If you can manage to paint anything on this bookmark, you could use the bookmark, you could paint on the pages, or, write something on the pages. And otherwise, this could go, it's really too short to use for my full-size human character. So if this was a bit taller, maybe about here. It doesn't have to be a lot taller, but it has to be a bit taller than what it is to be compatible with my other stuff. But if I were to use this with the next level miniatures, actually it's still a little bit too short, in my opinion. So just a tad bit taller. And you could say, well, Ash, you've got those bases. Well, yeah, but both the character and this lectern have to go in the bases, so they'd both be raising up in height in equal amounts. The candles on here, though, and the bookmark, incredible touch. I can't believe they went that detailed with it. Just make this a little bit taller, which, I mean, that means getting an entire new mold. You wouldn't be able to just reuse the same mold that you have, I believe. But the last two parts that I wanted to show you from my order were this Lich Sorcerer. Can be a Necromancer. He can be the big bad of your campaign. He's got a wicked scythe. He's got a very commanding pose. A very undead look. Sky's the limit with how you want to paint him. You can use cool colors. You can go gray. You can go black. You can go green, purple, orange. You can go Skeletor mode. You can paint the bones as bone. You can paint rotting flesh. It's all up to you. Guy is really, really awesome. Again, up next to the Mentor, very similar scale, pretty much the exact same scale. And just, again, I mean, easily kind of like a Zargon or an undead mage from HeroQuest. One of those kinds of types of enemy, one of those kinds of types of named bosses, perhaps. He won't stand up because he's got a gate, again, that we got to slice off. And finally, I liked this very much. I really, really liked the way that these looked. They've got doors with nothing through them, so open doors, and then they've got portal doors. And they've also got a couple others. We'll take a look at those here in just a second. The portal door is so cool, though. That is a 3D swirl. You could really do a lot of different paint jobs. And if I got one of these, if I were you, I would probably get like a half dozen, and I would probably paint, if I had like 6 of them, I'd paint them in pairs. So you had 2 portals, 2 portals, 2 portals. And you can even take like another pair of them and paint them uniquely, so that you'd always have either 3 portals that would go to 3 other places on the board, and your players would immediately recognize, due to the same color of the portal, that that's where they were going to go once they revealed that location. Or you could have up to 5 different portals that just lead wherever as one-way tickets. And yeah, that is my order. I'm highly pleased and very impressed with Next Level Miniatures, and I wanted to share their website and their Kickstarter, and we're going to do that right now. Yo, what up? That's right, it's me, corner of the screen, green screen Ash, and I'm right here at Next Level Miniatures. If you haven't already visited the website, going crazy looking at the awesome things that you have seen on the channel. We have even more, the Aasimar Paladin, so you know that they're using OSR stuff, D&D stuff, no problem there. That's really cool. I didn't talk about this, but that was all for a little over $25. Their prices are pretty incredible when it comes to per model, per mini. This is $1.49. Back when I was like 16, going to the closest miniature Warhammer type shop that I could possibly find, that's about how much those blister packs were back then, and they would include, 1 or 2. I guess normally they would include metal miniatures. So take that as however you wish, but still, $1.49 for a miniature that you don't have to print yourself is a steal. I'm really, really impressed with their pricing. We've got a Dark Stalker. You could use him in a variety of contexts. We have a lot of different little monsters, just mobs that you could probably order by the half dozen or by the 8 because, you know, your full complement of monsters that you reveal might need to be that much. And then we have a lot of playable character types like this Catfolk Sorcerer. This guy was really cool. I wanted to add him to my order, but I decided to go a little bit different because I wasn't sure how big these guys were going to turn out. I know it says approximate height, but I needed to see them up next to my characters to make sure that I felt like the scales matched and everything. And I'm really happy with them, so I will be doing another order, but they've got larger monsters, 45 millimeter for this coiled naga. That could be a really gross monster to add to your campaign. Site loads a little slow, please excuse that. We've got the dark creeper. This guy's got huge feet. He could really be like a halfling rogue almost, but I think he's got kind of a big nose. So well, I guess halflings do have big noses too. There's an implication of darkness for this guy, so maybe he couldn't be as widely utilized as I'm imagining. We've got the deep gnome. He's only 99 cents. He's only 99 cents. You could have a ton of these guys, paint them up, and then bam, you've got a bunch of NPCs for your underground level or your underground scenario. We've got a dwarf fighter. This guy's really cool. He lacks a beard. It's almost as if he took the Slayer's Oath, and instead of shaving his head into a mohawk and looking like a real badass, he decided to shave his beard completely off, which would be the true shameful outcast thing to do. But his hair's in this cool coil. So yeah, there's something to be said for that. Maybe he's just a young dwarf and he doesn't have any accolades behind him yet. We've got some miniatures like this flesh golem that are still $2, but he's almost 40 millimeters high. He's pretty incredible. He's definitely gross. He's definitely golem-like. And then we have more miniatures like this Drider goblin, which are just particularly nasty. I can't stand this dude. There's actually a lot of goblins. But they're the monstrous-looking Pathfinder style of goblin. So I didn't go for any goblins in this order. And I've actually got a subscription to Twin Goddess Minis, and I've got some other goblins of a wildly different aesthetic that I'm going to be pursuing. So, I'm going to be 3D printing those myself and showing you on the channel. We've got Frost Dwarves. These might make an excellent addition to your Frozen Horror campaign for HeroQuest. Maybe you can introduce Frost Dwarves as enemies. I really wanted this cave troll that's about to load in. He's 54 millimeters high, so he's pretty tall. He's one of the more expensive ones on here at $4.99, but I mean, the aesthetic, you cannot beat that aesthetic. He's got a really long troll nose. His mouth, his muzzle is just extended. He's got that classic sort of labyrinth look to him, or never-ending story. If we take a look at the super menu here, that's actually the Dragon's Hoard Volume 2. So if you know anything about the Dragon's Hoard, this is the Volume 2 of the Dragon's Hoard. I think that used to be a Kickstarter, and if I go to the main page and check out their current Kickstarter, which it says now live and pledged today, but it's done. You can't, I don't think the pledge manager's open. Yeah. You can't access the Pledge Manager, and this Kickstarter in particular is not going on. But what is here can show you what's coming to their store, because I believe that all of this stuff is going to be coming to their store at some point. So the Kickstarter definitely funded the ability for them to make these molds and start getting these in mass production, so that you can order these at the 99 cent, $1.99, maybe $2.99 prices. And we can see Outset Tavern. This is what's coming, I would imagine, to their storefront. The Barkeep, the Elf Bard, they're both lovely. The Dwarf Barmaid, she looks awesome. A Gang Heavy, Hobgoblin Ruffian, and Human Thug. These guys are waiting to be just taken out. The Town Guard with Spear, Town Guard Captain, and Town Guard with Crossbow. These guys look suspiciously a lot like people that I've been having to deal with in Demon Souls. The Mercurial Wizard, he looks really cool. He looks pretty awesome. A Werebear. So right now, Polar Warbear variant, if you need one. Mysterious Drifter. I like the look of this Mysterious Drifter. Could be a hero, could be an NPC, could be an enemy, could be all three. But I particularly love the furniture here. We've got a hearth, we've got kegs, cellar door, bar top, tavern table, ×2. And you can see a cheese wheel that's been partially cut into, meat on a plate, all 3 bits of silverware, a jug and a mug. The table itself looks really cool. I can only imagine what these look like in real life. I'm sure they look just as cool, just as impressive. Then we go on to the ruined keep. We've got kobold shamans, raiders, and the gnoll ravager. This guy's enormous. Kobold slingers and a kobold captain with a huge oversized sword. The wandering ranger looks really cool. He looks like he's a character ready to join your Talisman 3rd edition game. I mean, he's just about got the aesthetic nailed. Guard drakes. We need more quadruped monsters in HeroQuest. We don't have nearly enough. So I know this is not all for HeroQuest, but this guy looks like he'd fit right in. Arrow traps, hunter's traps, ruined wall set, and then the Stitcher's Workshop. This is horrifying. We've got the Stitcher, the Stitched Zombie, and the Stitched Duo, the Stitcher's Assistant and Ghast, the Stitched Reaper, a Dungeon Captive, which is horrifying just in and of himself. Something called a Varguil? Somebody's going to correct me on that pronunciation. Vargui? I don't know. Vargoyle. Boneless. He is hilarious. I love him. I'm going to use him as an NPC. He's not going to be a bad guy. You're going to have to go get something for him. Probably bones. Operation table. That's horrifying. And pile of bodies, which is more horrifying than any miniature I think I've ever seen. And finally, the zombie trap. That is an incredible, ripe for homebrew trap right there. We've got treacherous manor. It just goes on and on. I could sit here and spell out what all of these different things come with and what they are, but I mean, just looking at them should be enough to sell you. We've got pressure plates, tentacle insert for the scrying pool. Here's the scrying pool. It also has a removable water insert. The summoning circle. The gutter has got a bunch of disgusting sewer enemies and traps and rot grub infested corpses. Come on. You can't miss out. And then we've got this giant dragon. That's actually another thing that I wanted to look at on the Next Level Miniatures site. If we go to the shop and we arrange, well, I don't think I can sort by price, can I? We've got a lot of other things to look at though. And one of them, Aspect of Orcus. This guy's a boss monster, no doubt. He's $7.99. He's one of the more expensive ones, but he's 68 millimeters. He's huge. And they are unpainted, but it says that there's no primer necessary to paint. So that's actually, I think that's the disclaimer that's on all of them. We're going to test this by trying to speed paint these guys at some point here shortly. But just a couple more to look at. Giant wolf spider, of course, they have a ton on here, but I just want to let you guys actually go and look at them instead of me showing you every single mini on the site. Cultist. I absolutely want this cultist. I don't know why I didn't buy a handful of them. The Earth Elemental. There's one in particular I'm going to click on or look for if I don't see it here soon. Earth Elemental is looking great. 40 millimeters high. 2-inch round base included. I'm not going to use the bases myself, but if you need round bases, you can get him. And that's a 2-inch round base. So this tells you that this guy is big. He's a big dude, and he's only $349 USD. Okay, again, Elf Sorcerer. Yeah, main page. We're going to look for dragons real quick, because there's a dragon on here that I want to show you. So search for the dragon. Search for the dragon. You're not going to show me the dragon? It's like a dragon egg. That's okay. There's dragon eggs. That's fine. $199 USD, but that's not what I'm looking for. I am looking for something that maybe it's not on here anymore. Haven't found my dragon yet, but I did find this mage's desk, and I wanted to show you guys this mage's desk real quick. Still 28 millimeter scale, still that heroic scale that I love so much. We've also got gravestones, which I won't click on those. We've actually got 2 sizes of gravestones on here. I found it. It's not a dragon, it's a Draco Lich. That's why I was having trouble finding it. I was looking for a dragon, and this is a dragon, but it's a zombie dragon. He's got a 3-inch round base included. He's also got this lovely thing that holds him up in the air so that you know that he's flying and that he cuts in even more imposing and dangerous and alarmingly, urgently, we need to take this guy down right now figure than anybody else I think I've seen on this site. He's 117 millimeters high. So that tells you this guy's going to be pretty enormous if you have him on your board. I don't know that I would use I would use the Draco Lich in HeroQuest, because the dragon that is supplied with Crypt of Perpetual Darkness is not the most impressive dragon there is. We've got dragon hatchlings as well. Less impressed with those. They kind of look like kaiju with wings, which can be pretty cool. Maybe that's for you. Maybe that is for your game for sure. But other than that, guys, this abomination, he serves a lot of purposes. We do have just a ton of other sculpts. There were 8 pages on here as of the time of this recording, which this video is going up today on this lovely Thursday, so please enjoy. Anyways, that is Next Level Miniatures. They come highly recommended by me. Don't forget that I shared a coupon with you. This isn't just for me. This is a flyer thrown in the box, so I'm sure everybody can use this coupon that the green screen is deleting from existence. It's summer 2023. That's 20% off with your code. I'm not sponsored by Next Level. I might reach out and see if I can get some more stuff. But I don't have any associations with them. I'm not being paid anything to say that. I'm just really happy that I found an awesome company that's pretty close by me, and I could not believe that I got my order in just a couple of days. That's insane. They do ship out in batches a couple times a week, so that definitely was just the exact right time. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment anything you like down below, and I'll see you Monday with the next broadcast. So until then, have a great rest of your day and a great weekend, and bye for now.